Hey, my name is Michael Knipp, and spring is in the air. Kind of. Unless you're in the Midwest. The weather seems nice right now, but everyone knows that if you live in the Midwest, the weather's just kind of a dice roll. I am here to talk about the books I am planning on reading in March. Now, I thought my February TBR was a little bit ambitious, but the problem is, this actually reminds me of a boss that I used to have. He would kind of schedule up a certain expectation of like production that he expected his employees to do, which I thought was kind of insane. And then we being the employees would like bust our butts and pull some crazy things and actually get it done. And the unfortunate side effect of being able to pull things out of our butts at the last minute and accomplish these insane requirements was that my boss was never really shown that these are crazy requirements because we were able to pull it off. And the truth of the matter is that last month's TBR was a little bit hectic, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I was able to read all the books on that TBR plus some, and so I didn't learn my lessons. So I set another insane TBR for this month. There is no conceivable way that this will all get finished. But if I did do it, that would be cool. I feel like a lot of people say that, but I got some big books in this TBR. Let's just jump into it. First of all, there's a thing called Middle Grade March that, like so many of the booktubers that I follow, are going to be a part of, and I am excited to also do a little bit of middle grade reading in March. Krista, one of the hosts of Middle Grade March, actually contacted me directly on Instagram and asked if I would like to submit a recommendation for a book for Middle Grade March. I found that to be a huge honor. I've never been approached for something like that before. And so I thought about all of the middle grade books that I've read, and I thought about one that was near and dear to my heart. I read it in February just to make sure that it was still kind of the way that I remembered it, and it was. So look forward to that. I think that I'm going to be in the giant recommendations compilation video that she puts together, and I'm so excited about that. Thank you so much, Krista, for this opportunity. I am truly thankful and honored that you thought to ask me to submit that. The big book that everybody is kind of supposed to be reading for middle grade March is the book called The Book of Boy. I know absolutely nothing about it, except that that's kind of the group read book for the read along. And so I've just picked that up from my library, and I am planning on reading that with everybody else. Another middle grade book that I've been kind of hearing about, talked about on BookTube a little bit, but I don't know that much about, is a book called The Trials of Morrigan Crow in the Nevermore series. I first saw this book on the channel Mystery Date with a Book over on Faye's channel, and it just seems like a whimsical middle grade fantasy book, and that's enough to make me interested, and Middle Grade March was a perfect opportunity to read this book. Plus, I don't know if you can see this, it was on sale for $5. How could I not do that? Now, I don't know if this counts as middle grade. I'm pretty sure the first book does, but I'm continuing along with Anne Along 2020, and the book for this month with that read along is Anne of the Island. So I'm looking forward to reading that. I really, really liked the last two Anne books in a way that I never expected myself to. You can hear me talk about that more in my wrap up, but good night. I've been hitting the microphone more lately, and it's really weird. I'm really looking forward to getting to Anne on the Island. Anne of the Island. Now, a bunch of the boys that I have recently started following on YouTube and on Twitter are doing something called the Mars Along, where they're reading the books that have to do with the John Carter book series. I knew that was a Disney movie. I heard that movie was not very good, but the premise of the movie sounded cool, so I'm curious to read the books. Scott at the Book Invasion and Mike over at Pints and Paperbacks are the two that I kind of already knew that are involved in this read along. It seems like it's pretty short. We're doing one book a month, and so I'm going to be participating in that. Looking forward to reading the first book in that series, which is called A Princess of Mars. Speaking of one book a month read-alongs, I've wanted to read the Dresden Files for a while now. All it took for me to be interested is, hey, it's a detective story in our world, but the detective is a wizard and magic exists. That sounded really interesting. The first place I heard about that was Kayla at Crack Into a Good Book. Go check out her channel and subscribe to her if you haven't already. But Nichi at I Read Past My Bedtime, she does mostly stuff on Instagram now, decided that she would gather a group together, and we're doing a Dresden Files read-along, one book a month, starting with the Stormfront, or I think it's just Stormfront, in March. And so I'm looking forward to starting that series as well. Okay, so all of that stuff that I just mentioned is actually fairly doable. I'm not worried about it. The problem is that I am trying to continue some series that are all giant chunkers. First, definitely kind of the most important one for me, the thing I'm most excited about for real, is Words of Radiance. I did a big video in February where I talked about how my new favorite book of all time was called The Way of Kings. If you want to hear me gush about that book, both spoiler-free and spoiler-filled, I have a video that you can go check out. I truly did love that book so much, and I've been just having to exercise extreme self-restraint to stop myself from jumping right into Words of Radiance, but I'm planning on reading that next month pretty much as soon as possible. I have a feeling once I let myself off the leash, I'm going to just jump and devour Words of Radiance. I can't wait. But that's a huge book, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to devour it. Thankfully, I'm so interested in that one, I will probably consume it as fast as humanly possible, because I will just try to ingest it at every spare moment I can, but it's still so freaking huge, it's going to take some time. Next, I would like to read The Shadow Rising, which is Wheel of Time Book 4. Another huge book, not as big as Words of Radiance, but another massive book. The Wheel of Time series is something I've been continuing along. I've got some friends in real life who are trying to go through that series. There's people on YouTube I follow that are getting through that series. Plus, I just want to be able to talk to my good friend Daniel Green, the YouTuber. We're not really friends, but someday maybe we can be. I love you, Daniel. But also, I have to skip a lot of your content because I don't want you to spoil Wheel of Time for me, my dude. But yeah, I'd like to read that book this month if possible. And then I just started another series. I have a rule where I shouldn't be starting new series. I'm actually maybe going to do that again this month. Plus, Nevermore. I need to stop starting new series. But last month, I started The Expanse by reading Leviathan Wakes. Now, at the time of this filming, I'm actually not done with Leviathan Wakes, but I am going to finish it and complete my February TBR. But I am planning, if I really like this book as much as I kind of am feeling I'm going to like this book, I would like to get to Caliban's War, which is the second book in that series, this month as well. Who the heck knows if that's going to happen? But Leviathan Wakes, once I got into it, is just super, super, super page-turning. I can't get enough of it. I want to finish it as soon as possible, and I think I will, which means I will also want to continue on in that series with Caliban's War. I think that's how you say that. And last but not least, I blame Sara Harts books for this. I went to Half Price Books, and I was just perusing the aisles, and I happened to come across something. Now, most of the books that I usually read are ebooks. It's easier for me to consume them that way. Plus, I can get the audiobooks and kind of sync them along. But there's some books that just make more sense in my brain to have physical. Like this one, The Illuminae Files, Book 1, Illuminae. And Sarah from Sara Harts Books has been talking about reading this book for some time, and she decided that she was just going to make it be on her TBR for this month. Now, one of the things that I'm enjoying about BookTube is being able to discuss the books that people are reading with them while we're reading them. It's been really awesome when it's happened. And so I have this book. I just bought it. I wasn't planning on reading it right away, but since Sarah's reading it this month, I think it would probably be a good time to do that. Now, this is a huge book, but I think that the mixed media format of it is going to help me get through it fast. Bree from Call Me After Coffee said she got through all 3 of them in a week, I think is what she said. So I don't think it's going to be that hard. I think the main huge players here are going to be The Expanse, The Wheel of Time, and the Stormlight Archive books. But I really just want to read them all. I have so many books that I want to read. I want to do Middle Grade March. I want to do these other read-alongs. And I want to make it happen, and until I set up a TBR that just completely fails, I don't know why I would stop doing super ambitious TBRs at that point. Heck, am I crazy? Sure. I just punched my light. I'm punching lights, I'm punching microphones. I'm very unprofessional here today, especially. Are you participating in any of these read-alongs? Did you know they existed? There is room for you to jump in on any of them, and I would love to talk about the books that I'm reading, especially if you are reading them or have read them recently. Keep it fresh. I love having those discussions. Are there any of these books, maybe you've read them, that you would like me to do a dedicated video review for? I like to try to make the videos I think people are looking forward to. You know, everyone here on BookTube knows it's fun to make videos that people actually want to watch. So, if there's a video for one of these books or one of the books that I finished last month that you would like me to make a dedicated review for, I'm open to suggestions. What book are you most excited to be reading in March? I want to hear from you guys. If you'd like to, you can leave a comment down below with the book that you're most excited to read in March. You can also comment about anything else in this video. Remember, if you liked it, to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. I would love that. I just hit 200 subscribers. I'm so thankful to all the subscribers that I've gotten so far. I've made so many good friends. I'm continuing to do so. I'm doing my best as I find channels that I love to watch to be tagging them in my tag videos. So I'm hoping to also provide the service of being able to shout out the channels that I love while my channel is growing at the same time. Once again, thank you so much to the people who have made this channel so fun to do, who have made reading so fun. You guys are so awesome. I am truly thankful for you. I've now reached like relationship status with multiple people where like I see something in real life, or I see something on their Instagram, or I see something on Twitter, and I feel like I know the person enough to like have engagements with them, and it's so meaningful and awesome and cool, and it's everything that I thought BookTube would be. So just once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. I just want to be friends with all of you. Thank you. I'm going to be posting my February wrap-up video pretty soon, so be looking forward to that. I'm going to give a little details on all that stuff that I read in February. I don't want to ramble on forever, so until next time, I love you all. I just punched my light again. Goodbye.
No one ever get enough. Always looking out tired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. If it don't show up, I might get fired. Sleep. No one ever get enough. Always looking out tired, sleep. No one ever get enough. If I don't show up, I might get fired.